Okay, so have you ever felt like you need like a secret decoder ring or something to figure out if someone is attracted to you?
Hmm.
It can feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's what we're talking about today. We are diving deep into the world of attraction, trying to figure out what are those subtle cues that someone might be dropping to tip you off to how they're really feeling about you.
That's right.
So listen up, pay attention, because today we are going to be the decoders. And we are going to be doing some insights from a really interesting source that I think gives us a good and lighthearted look at some common signs that women display when they're interested in someone. So,
Absolutely.
so let's
Yeah.
unlock some secrets, huh?
Let's do it.
The first thing that our source talks about, it mentions this idea of what it calls the happy glow.
Ah.
So what do you think? What's the happy glow? What are they getting at here?
So I think what they're getting at with the happy glow is how someone like really lights up when they're around someone they like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they smile more. Right.
They laugh more easily. They just seem to radiate like a positive energy.
That makes sense.
And that's kind of what they're calling the happy glow.
It sounds like they're talking about just being generally happy in the presence of someone that you like.
Exactly.
Um, and I mean, I think about it even in just regular friendships.
Yeah.
If there's someone that you really like to be around, you probably are just kind of naturally smiling more when they're around. I mean,
Yeah, you feel happier, so that kind of shines through.
right.
Yeah.
And then another point that they made is that women tend to lean in
Mm.
when they're engaged and attracted to someone. So no, this isn't just about like being physically closer,
Right.
but it's about kind of being fully present in the moment, you know?
Yeah, like you're really focused on the other person.
Right. Yeah, and really kind of eager to absorb what they're saying. It's like that feeling of, when someone's telling a really captivating story and you just kind of lean in.
You're drawn in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay, so another thing our source points out is this thing called mirroring magic. And I got to say, this one does sound kind of magical.
Yeah, it is kind of
Like,
fascinating.
what is the magic behind this, the mirroring?
So basically, we tend to subconsciously mirror the body language of people that we like.
Mm.
So for example, if someone, crosses their legs, you might subtly do the same. If they lean forward, you might find yourself unconsciously kind of mirroring that posture.
Yeah.
And it's not something we even really think about. It's just something that kind of happens.
It's interesting because I can totally see how that would happen, like with close friends or family members, people that you're just really comfortable around.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a natural way of building that rapport and connecting with each other.
Yeah.
And there's actually a concept called neural mirroring. It's like our brains actually fire in a similar way when we observe someone doing something as if we were doing it ourselves.
Oh, wow.
It's wild.
So then, like, mirroring isn't just like, a social behavior. It's like deeply rooted in our brain's wiring.
Exactly. And it's a testament to like our innate desire to connect with other people on a deeper level.
That's so cool. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now this one's a classic. We got to talk about it. Our source calls this one hair play. It suggests that like playing with one's hair can be a really subtle way of, flirting or expressing attraction. What do you think?
It definitely is a common observation. It's something we see a lot.
Yeah.
But I think we do need to kind of approach this one with a bit of caution,
Hmm.
Because, sure, playing with your hair can be a subconscious gesture of attraction, like, especially if someone's like trying to draw attention to themselves.
Right.
But it's not always a foolproof sign, you know what I mean?
Right, because I've definitely played with my hair when I'm, maybe nervous or if there's like a stray hair that's tickling my face.
Exactly.
So you do kind of have to consider the whole context
Yeah.
and not read too much into, one single cue in isolation.
Yeah, it's all about looking at the bigger picture, like
Yeah.
taking in all those cues that we're talking about, kind of in combination.
Right, exactly. All right, so now let's talk about, this is kind of a tricky one, and I'm sure it's something that a lot of people have questions about. And our source calls this one touchy-feely. So it mentions that, women sometimes might initiate physical contact as like a sign of attraction, but I'm sure there's a lot of nuance here. So I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, so I think with this one, it's really important to, emphasize context, boundaries, and respect.
Right.
Like a light touch on the arm during a conversation, a playful nudge. Those can be ways of subtly breaking the touch barrier and creating a connection, showing that you're kind of comfortable with someone.
But it's obviously not a green light to like get overly touchy.
Exactly. Yeah, like respect for personal space is super important.
Right.
And also, it's good to remember that some people are naturally more tactile than others. So a touch doesn't always automatically signal, romantic interests.
Yeah.
You have to really be reading the situation and being respectful of those boundaries.
So we covered a lot of ground today. I mean, we talked about the happy glow. We talked about leaning in, mirroring, hair play, touchy-feely. What do you think, like, what are some key takeaways from this whole conversation?
I think the most important takeaway is that these are just potential signs.
Right.
They're not guaranteed formulas or anything like that. Like, the
Yeah.
best way to understand if someone's attracted to you is to just observe their overall behavior.
Right.
And you know how they make you feel. Like,
Right.
do you feel comfortable and respected when you're with them? Do they make you feel happy and at ease? Those feelings, I think, are ultimately the most reliable indicators of a positive connection.
I love that. It's not just about, trying to decipher those individual cues,
Mhm.
but really paying attention to the overall vibe.
Yeah,
Like, how does this person make you feel?
exactly.
That's really the most important thing.
Yeah, and the world of attraction is super complex. It's fascinating.
It is.
And while these signs can offer some insights, it's ultimately about trusting your instincts and focusing on building genuine connections.
Totally.
Remember, positive energy, it attracts positive energy.
Yeah.
So be open, be authentic, and most importantly, just be yourself.
I love it. All right. That's our deep dive for today. We'll see you all next time.
Hey,